Hello everyone. In the previous module, we have discussed about what is Microsoft Azure. And then we have discussed about architecture of Microsoft Azure. Architecture of Microsoft Azure. Today, we are going to discuss about module 3, that is Azure subscription and Azure resource group. We are going to discuss from how to create Azure subscription and how to manage Azure subscription, creating the resource group, how to manage the resource group, all those things we are going to discuss on this particular module. These two layers we are going to discuss, Microsoft Azure subscription and Azure resource group. Let us start to discuss about that. Look at here. I'm going to the browser and seeing there is Azure subscription, which is created by me. And if I go to the subscription is already created. The subscription name is Azure subscription 1. The subscription ID is this one. And I am the owner of the subscription. Because normally when you create the subscription, you will become automatically a subscription administrator. And the subscription is in active. That means you can use whatever services, whatever resources you are creating on this particular subscription, you have to pay it. So how I have created the subscription in the sense, I went to the search engine. I typed Azure subscription, free trial. And I have created the Azure subscription using this link. So when you try Azure for free, it will ask a lot of details. So 1 month, they will give the free trial. They will give a lot of details. They will ask from you, personal details. You can submit all those details to the Microsoft. Once you have submitted all those details to the Microsoft will allow you to create the subscription. And you can create, you can manage, you can practice whatever I'm teaching on this particular class. Suppose if you don't want to have the free trial, if you want to hold permanently for the 6 months lab infrastructure, in our e-learning platform plans, one of the plan which we are having 6 months lab access, you can get it from us and you can hold it for the 6 months and you can practice yourself. Either you can go and create the free trial or you can get the complete lab infrastructure from us for the 6 months and you can do it from there. This is what the suggestion. And the full details how to create this free trial, I have given the documentation in our document center. You can go through the document and you can create your free subscription, because a lot of security sensitive information it will ask. I cannot show in front of the screen. Since I have written a documentation, what and all you have to provide and create the subscription, please look at our lab documents and using that you can create your subscription. Now the subscription is created. Using the subscription and at the subscription level, we can do a lot of operations. We can perform a lot of operations. So what are the operations we can perform at the subscription level? That is what we are going to learn it now. And we are going to write the keynotes about all those things. Then we will go ahead and we'll try to create resource group with the region. So I'm clicking on this particular subscription. Maybe once again, I'll show you. So when you came to the subscription home, if you want to access the subscription, you can go to the search bar and you can type subscription. Click on the subscription. Look at here. The subscription is created and it's showing here. I want to revisit once again. That's what I showed to you. When I click the subscription, there are a lot of options which is displayed here. So activity log. We can track all the activities which is performed in Azure subscription. There will be a lot of administrator. Who is doing what? How do we know? I'm the enterprise admin. I want to monitor all those activities. In the sense, I can use this activity log and I can see all the activities, whatever we have performed. And the next is access control. We can provide role-based access for each and every Azure user. One user you can designate as a VNet administrator, another user you can designate as a VM administrator, another one more administrator you can designate as storage administrator, like you can define it, role-based access control. So at the subscription level, they can start to manage the resources irrespective of region. And we can manage the cost, right? So how much cost we have spent, monthly, yearly, all those things we can manage using this cost management. And all the bills which is raised by the Microsoft, which we can see from here, how many invoices is raised by the Microsoft. So we can do the billing management and costing management, as well as we can apply the security and compliance policies using this subscription. So this many operations we can perform at the subscription level, as well as all the resources you can see from here, you can manage from here irrespective of the region. So if you want to list out properly, we can manage resources using Azure subscription. You can track the activity of the entire subscription. We can manage and apply role-based access control. We can manage cost and billings, and we can apply security and compliance policies, and all those things, all the operations we can perform at the subscription level, right? So this are all the things we are going to do practically, but not now, because we have not yet deployed any resources. Now only we have started our journey. We understood about what is Azure and what is the architecture of Microsoft Azure. Then we came and we have created our subscription, and we are assessing our subscription. We are not yet created any resources, so we cannot track activities, we cannot perform access control, or we cannot apply security and compliance policies and all. So just we are exploring these options, so you will not miss the correlation between the options which is in the Microsoft Azure. Now what we are going to do, we are going to write the keynotes about the operations of Azure subscription. Once we have finished this, we will discuss about the next component called resource group and region. Let's go ahead and we'll write the keynotes about this particular Azure subscriptions. So Azure subscription, we can manage all the resources at subscription level. That's what we have discussed, subscription level. And we can track activity of all the Azure users, at subscription level. We can assign role-based access control. Access control to manage Azure resources from subscription level. We can apply security and compliance policy for the entire subscription. We can manage cost and billing. Can manage cost and billing of entire subscription resources. This are all the operations This are all the operations we can perform at the subscription level. This are all the operations we can perform at the subscription level. So if you want to deploy and manage our entire IT infrastructure resources, as per our architecture discussion, we have to first, we have to create, first we have to create Microsoft Azure subscription. Yes, we have created. We understood about what are the operations we can perform at the Azure subscription. Well, that is also we understood. Now what we have to do, we have to go ahead and we have to try to understand about the next component called resource group region. You already know. While discussing the architecture, I told resource group is a container. We can organize the resources based on the specific region. And I told one more point also. In Microsoft Azure, without specifying any region, you cannot deploy resources. So if you want to deploy the resources, you have to specify the region. Why they had configured like this? Why they have given the architecture like this in the sense, we are deploying the resources for whom? For our customers. That is a primary one. Yes, we will deploy for our employees also, but primarily we are deploying all the resources for our customers. For example, if you are running a retail company, if you want to sell the products, if you want to run the website for your customers, you can adapt the Azure subscription and you can deploy the resources. At the time, you have to ask one question: where is my customer is located? If the customer is located in East US, then you have to deploy the resources in East US region. So you have to create resource group with East US region. If your customer is located in the West US, you have to create a resource group in West US region. If your customers are located in 10 regions, you have to create 10 resource group with the 10 different regions. Then you can deploy the resources so that you can serve the data from the user's nearest location. That's what the meaning. So these are all the things we have discussed during the architecture level itself. Now we are going to do the deep dive about this resource group. That means what is resource group? Again, we are going to discuss. And after that, we are going to create the resource group. We are going to explore what are the operations we can do from resource group level, like our Azure subscription. That is also we are going to discuss. In that way, I'm going to the today's keynotes. Azure resource group. Resource group, it is a container. It is a container to organize resources based on the region. It is a container to organize the resources based on the region. Okay. So now what we have to do, we have to create a resource group. So how to create a resource group? I'm going to demonstrate here. Let us all go to the Azure subscription. And to create a resource group, go to the home. Always, whenever you are going to create the resources, come to the subscription, go to the home. Once you go to the home, and you have the search box. In the search box, what components you are going to create, please search the component so that you will remember. If you do like this as manual process, you will remember always. So go to the resource group. Sorry. So go to the home, go to the resource group. Again, I will do the same process. Go to the home, search box, resource group. At any regions, resource group is created at any regions. So resource group provide logical container to manage and organize the resource. So to create the resource, I came here, click create. So when you click, Pop up the wizard. So wizard has come and it is giving the hierarchy. Look at here, which subscription you are going to create the resource group. I have only one subscription, so I'm selecting the Azure subscription one. In the Azure subscription one, I want to create a resource group name. I want to give the resource group name. When you are working in a real time, you can give the resource group based on the organizational standard. But to give the resource group name, you don't want to follow any case sensitive rules, lowercase, uppercase, and all. You can use any characters. So I'm giving RG100. I request all of you to maintain the same name so that easily you can remember. Always I will use concept name as a component name. So I'm giving as RG100. Resource group run 100. Shortly I'm calling as RG100. When you are practicing also, you can have the name like in a simple way so you can remember. When you go and work in a real world, decide this resource group based on your organization requirement. And region as a East US. I'm going to select as a East US. Look at here. As we have discussed in the architecture, lot of regions which is displaying here. I am selecting East US because this lab we have considered our customers are located in East US. So I am selecting the East US. You can ask me why you consider our customers are located in the East US. Because we have a quota limit. When you are having the free trial or your lab infrastructure, they will allow you to create your resources only on the East US. So I'm creating the resource group and I'm considering our location is based on the East US region. I'm selecting this. When I click next, it is asking about the tags. I want to have a separate session for this tags. I don't want to explain this now. So I'm clicking on next. I'm reviewing all those configurations, whatever I have given. This is a subscription. This is a resource group. This is a region. Click create. That's it. The resource group is created. You have to wait little patiently and you have to click refresh and automatically resource group is created. Look at here, the first container. So subscription is ready. Resource group is ready. And after creating the subscription, we all discussed about what are the operations we can able to perform from the subscription level. Same way, now also we are going to understand what are the operations we are going to perform at the resource group level. That's what we are going to discuss now. Look at here in the subscription level. Like our level, here in the resource group, also we can perform different types of different operations. Activities. Here also we can track the activity like our subscription. Here also we can provide role-based access control. Here also we can apply security and compliance policies. We can manage the cost. We can monitor the resources. All those operations we can perform at the resource group level. What is the difference? The same activity log, if you perform at the subscription level, that is for the entire subscription. This is for only for this resource group. Here we can track the activity of this particular resource group. Here we can here we can apply role-based access control. Here we can apply role-based access control to manage resources only on this particular resource group. And we can apply the security and compliance for policy for the resources which is located on this particular resource group level. And we can manage the cost of this particular resources which is in the resource group level. And we can monitor the resources. This is resource group level operations. That is Azure subscription level operations. The same operations we are doing, but the level of hierarchy is different. Now we are going to write the keynotes about this also. Right after writing the keynotes, we will go ahead and we'll discuss about the other components which is located in our Azure infrastructure. So I'm going to the keynotes of the module 3. So we can track activity of Azure users at resource group level. And we can assign role-based access control to manage Azure resources at resource group level. We can apply security and compliance policy. And we can manage cost of the resources existed in resource group. And we can monitor all the Azure resources in resource group. This are all the operations we can perform at where Azure resource group. We all are going to configure these operations and we are going to understand practically, but not now. We'll discuss later because we have not yet created any resources. Once you have created resources such as VNet, VMs, and all those things, activity logs will be created. We can apply the role-based access control for each and every resources like we can perform. Now it is not possible. So I'm moving this practical before the last module, right? So this are all about the Azure subscription and the Azure resource group. Now we want to discuss about the other components. We will discuss on the next module. Thank you.